If you have clicked on this video, you have almost certainly played GTA 5 at one point in your life. However, over the course of the game's 12 years of existence, it received multiple releases, many events, and tons, and I mean tons of updates to its online mode. In this video, I'm going to cover all of that, starting, well, with the game's development. Pre-production for GTA 5 actually began around the release of GTA 4, which was in April of 2008. However, the actual development process would last around 3 years. Unlike GTA 4, which was developed mostly by Rockstar North, GTA 5 had to be developed by almost all Rockstar subsidiaries, including Rockstar Leeds, Lincoln, London, New England, San Diego, and Toronto. The team consisted of over 1,000 people, and the budget was estimated to be around $265 million. The biggest challenge Rockstar had to face was creating a game as expensive and as ambitious as GTA 5, whilst making it run on the already weak and old PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Now thankfully, as they've had experience working on GTA 4 and Max Payne 3, they've learned how to optimize and properly utilize their proprietary Rage engine, which meant that we could have better draw distances, less pop-in, and overall just a bigger and more complex world and environments. Another thing that Rockstar perfected whilst working on their previous projects is the third-person cover-based shooting that all of their games are built upon, except table tennis, I guess. This made the gunplay feel much more tight and fluid compared to GTA 4, and aiming with a controller especially feels much better than in their older games. When it comes to design, Rockstar made sure to create the most living and detailed recreation of Los Angeles scene in a video game. They went on massive field trips, scouting LA, taking pictures, videos, and talking with a lot of people living there. From ex-undercover FBI agents, mafia experts, and even street gangsters. The producers at Rockstar wanted to get a feel and understanding of the city's culture, slang, and the atmosphere they were hoping to recreate. This is how we ended up with the map we know and love today. When it comes to recreating Blaine County, Rockstar wanted to add wildlife as to not make this part of the map feel hollow. Another huge focus was obviously the game's narrative. Rockstar was inspired by the intertwined stories of GTA 4 and its DLC, and decided to make the game feature not one, but 3 main protagonists. Another thing Rockstar really liked about GTA 4 was the famous 3-leaf clover mission, where Nico and the McCready crew rob a bank, which inspired the big heist missions in GTA 5. This also worked well with the game's central theme, which was the chase of the almighty dollar. Also, fun fact, did you know that Ned Luke, Michael's voice actor, actually refused to work on GTA 5 because it was a video game? But changed his mind after reading the script, saying that he went from quote-unquote "I'm not doing it" to quote "nobody else is doing it." One big thing that was massively changed from GTA 4 were the driving mechanics. Instead of the hyper-realistic, floaty driving, we ended up with a much more arcade style, more akin to the Midnight Club and the Need for Speed games. The game was first announced on the 25th of October 2011 via the Rockstar Newswire and Twitter, and as you can probably guess, the internet blew up. The excitement was through the roof, which also just put a whole lot more pressure on the devs to deliver the best Grand Theft Auto experience to date. The debut trailer was released on the 2nd of November on the same year, showcasing the city and, more importantly, introducing us to Michael, one of the 3 main characters. Development continued strongly, and more trailers that introduced the 3 main protagonists were released. However, the next big thing came on the July 8th of 2013 with the release of the gameplay trailer, showcasing all of the new mechanics, the 3 lead characters, the map, and at the end of the trailer, it mentioned one teensy tiny little thing, and that thing was Grand Theft Auto Online. As funny as it seems, Rockstar had no idea how big GTA Online was going to become, and that shows here. Finally, after multiple delays, GTA 5 was released for the PS3 and Xbox 360 on September 17, 2013. And of course, it came with an extremely positive critical reception and a massive popularity, earning over $1 billion in just 3 days. The release of GTA 5 also ushered in an entirely new era of gaming on YouTube, where everybody was rushing to make videos about the game, gaining millions of views because it was just that popular. Now, one thing that you may not have known is that GTA Online didn't even launch alongside the game. In fact, it was released a couple of weeks later on October 1st with the game's 1.01 update, and the launch was, well, not perfect to say the least. The servers were slow and they would often kick you out, you spent ages looking at the clouds waiting for the loading screen to finish, matchmaking often just didn't work, and the game would sometimes not even save your progress, and above all else, it just didn't have much content. certainly not enough to keep players engaged in the long run. However, Rockstar understood the potential of GTA Online, which is why they kept updating it, and as we all know, this paid off big time. The first major update came on the 20th of November, titled Beach Bum, and it added a few new cars and weapons, clothing items, and some gameplay and quality of life improvements. The next major update would be released on the 4th of March 2014, and this was a big one. It was called the Business Update, and it added over 300 new clothing items, 2 new weapons, including the special carbine, and 4 new vehicles, including the Grati Turismo R. I think that this is the point when Rockstar realized just how much people like getting and driving supercars, and it would definitely have an impact on the cars we'd be getting through updates in the future. The next update to Online would be released 2 months later on the 13th of May, with the 1.13 version of the game titled The High Life. And this update brought us the mental state mechanic, with which if you killed too many players you'd be marked as a red dot on the map, and killing you would net the other player RP. This was most likely implemented to stop or reduce griefing, however, as we all know, this didn't really work out. It also brought us one of the most iconic cars in the game, the Pegasus Intorno. Now, GTA 5 had at this point one major problem. You see, the game was released 2 months before the launch of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and therefore did not launch on these consoles, which meant that the owners of the newest hardware could not play the most popular game in the world at the time. Well, Rockstar was well aware of that, and during E3 2014, they announced that GTA 5 would be launching on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC during the fall of the same year. However, Rockstar didn't just want to do a simple port. Instead, this version would bring many changes, including obviously improved visuals, with the game now running at 1080p and a locked 30 FPS, which may not seem like much now, but believe me, the old gen version of the game would almost never hit the intended frame rate cap. It also brought a much improved render distance, vegetation, a redesigned UI, and a completely new first person mode, which allowed you to play the entire game from a new perspective. And it's just insane that Rockstar was willing to do all of this for a re-release of the game, and yet something like Red Dead 1 didn't even get upscaled UI elements for its port. During this time there weren't really any major updates to GTA Online. I'm guessing that Rockstar was busy making the PC port of GTA 5, which was delayed multiple times, probably to avoid another GTA 4 situation. But more importantly, Rockstar was busy developing the biggest GTA Online update yet, the heists update. This is something that was teased for a while, and as we know, thanks to the beta version of GTA Online, it was something that was probably planned to be released much before. But on the 10th of March 2015, the heists update was finally released, and with it came 5 big-scaled and complex heists, many new vehicles, clothing, and more. This update also marked a bit of a turning point in GTA 5's history, as unlike all the updates that came before it, none of the content that came to online came to single player, which meant that you couldn't get vehicles like the Kuruma in story mode, and I think that this shows the direction Rockstar was planning to take with this game. At this point, people were also starting to realize that the single player DLCs, which Rockstar vaguely teased in a couple of their blog posts, would realistically never come out, as they realized just how much money GTA Online was making for them. On a more positive note, however, on April 14th, GTA 5 was finally released on PC, and it was a huge deal. Firstly, the PC port was excellent. All of the delays were actually necessary to make the experience as smooth as optimized as it could be, and it shows. The PC version also brought the Rockstar editor, which, just like in GTA 4, allowed you to create your own movies and upload them straight to YouTube. Speaking of which, the PC port of GTA 5 would make the game blow up even more on the platform. Not only because a lot of people were getting to play the game, but because of one very beautiful thing called mods. Because the modding community for this game is so big, videos covering them were extremely popular, and the modding scene will have a much bigger impact in the future, but we'll talk more about that later. As for GTA Online, well, 2015 would be full of updates, including the Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 and 2, which brought us many new weapons and cars, including my favorite vehicle in the game, the Progen T20. During this year we also got the Lowriders update, which brought us, well, lowriders. And we also got the Executives and Other Criminals update, which brought us the big and expensive yachts. This also just made it clear that Rockstar was focusing on bringing us fancy, expensive things that cost a lot of money, which made players either grind for hours to get it, or giving and buy shark cards, which was a win-win for Rockstar either way. This year also brought us a project which, whilst not important at this point, would prove to be a huge thing in the future. And that project was 5M. If you don't know, 5M is a community-made mod which basically brings a fully custom third-party multiplayer mode to GTA 5, similar to San Andreas' SAMP mod. At first, Rockstar didn't like this at all and took legal action against the mod. But the developers of 5M did everything in their power to keep the project alive, including making it necessary to own the game to play, making it impossible for pirates to access 5M. 2016 rolled around and it gave us some interesting updates to online. We got the further advances to finance and felony update, which brought us the offices and warehouses, alongside the ability to become a CEO and some cars such as the Grati X80, the Vapid FMJ and the Fister 811. We also got the bikers update, which brought us the motorcycle club and, well, a lot of bikes. And lastly, we got the import-export update, which brought us the ability to steal, store and sell cars, thus making owning an office actually worth it. When it comes to 2017, the first major update came in June of that year, and boy was it a big one. This was the gun running update, which brought us many things such as being able to buy a bunker, which allowed you to run the gun running business. It also brought us the Mobile Operations Center and the ability to upgrade some of our weapons to the Mark II versions, which added a ton of new attachments, bullet types and special paint jobs. This update also brought us some new interesting vehicles like the Ocelot XA21 and the Pegassi Torero. It also brought us one new vehicle which I'm sure won't turn into the most hated and controversial object in the entire game, the Oppressor. However, a week before this update was released, GTA 5 would have its biggest controversy yet. You see, one tool that basically everyone modding the game needed to use was Open4, which allowed users to modify the game's .rpf files, which stored all of the content in the game itself. Now, this tool was always intended to be used only with single player, and could not be used to modify the game's online mode, with the developers of it clearly stating so multiple times. However, this did not stop Take-Two, Rockstar's parent company, from filing a cease and desist and taking down the project, thus practically trying to kill off the modding scene. This did not sit well with players, who decided to review bomb the game on Steam, making it receive over 30,000 negative reviews in the month of June. Take-Two realized just how bad of a move this was and they changed their mind, allowing Open4 to stay and run. However, the amount of negative reviews was still pretty huge and the players weren't happy about this situation at all. The next major update for GTA Online came near the end of the year and was called the Doomsday Heist. This update brought us the famous underground facilities and, well, the Doomsday Heist, which was divided into 3 parts, and to me, this update represents the beginning of a new era of GTA Online, and it's not an era I'm particularly fond of. You see, the Doomsday Heist basically revolves around saving the world from some crazy tech mogul who has a rogue AI named Clifford. And there's literally a scene where you fight big armored robots and the atmosphere in general doesn't feel like GTA anymore. This game started to feel more and more like Saints Row, and not even the good era of Saints Row, I mean the ridiculous era of Saints Row. But anyways, the next major update wouldn't be released until 2018, with the After Hours update, which gave us the ability to own and run a nightclub. It also reintroduced Gay Tony, who I guess moved to Los Santos for some reason. It also gave us the most controversial vehicle in the game, the Oppressor Mark II, which is basically a flying bike that shoots rockets, and yet Rockstar didn't think that this was unbalanced or broken in any way. This year didn't really bring us anything major for GTA 5, probably due to the entire team at Rockstar being busy working at Red Dead Redemption 2, which also launched in October of this year. 2019 gave us the famous Diamond Casino heist, which gave players the ability to gamble all of their hard-earned money away, but also brought us penthouses and new casino missions, which were honestly pretty fun, at least to me. This update also famously was controversial, as players in some countries couldn't access any of the casino games due to some countries banning them, which makes no sense considering that this is an M-rated game, and yet games like NBA 2K has casinos. This is also actually a thing in my country, and it's absolutely insane, because I live in a country which has one of the biggest gambling problems in Europe, with there being a casino in almost every street. But no, let's ban virtual gambling in a video game. Anyways, this year also brought us the update which allowed us to rob said casino and was honestly pretty decent. 2020 rolled around and it only brought us one but really big update, and that was the Cayo Perico heist. The Cayo Perico heist brought us a whole new tropical island and a tyrannical overlord to rob. This update was very well received and brought a lot of players to the game. However, 2020 also had one more major announcement. You see, this was the year when the new series of consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, were announced. And Rockstar also had one more announcement to make. They were releasing GTA 5 again, for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Fans were obviously upset, and what makes this even worse is that for the half of the announcement trailer, they used footage from the first trailer of the game, the one from 2011. 2021 came around and it gave us one more major update, which was the contract. This update brought back Franklin and Lamar, and more importantly gave us an entire storyline with Dr. J, and I actually really liked playing through these missions, and I think that the new songs released with the update were also pretty sweet. This was the latest really huge update that came to the game, and while we would get a couple of major-ish updates over the upcoming years, nothing really came close to the updates we were getting before, but we're still not done, however. In 2022, almost 2 years after the announcement, the new quote-unquote expanded and enhanced version of GTA 5 was released for the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, and it brought 60 FPS to consoles for the first time, alongside a higher resolution, improved anti-aliasing, and ray tracing, which at times can honestly make the game look quite impressive for something that came out over 10 years ago. Now, remember when I talked about FiveM and how it would become a major thing later on? Well, it did. Something that became really, and I mean really popular, were role-playing servers with some of the biggest creators in the world streaming and playing the game, getting millions of viewers along the way. Rockstar saw the potential in this and decided to do something unexpected. In August of 2023, they purchased CFX, the company behind FiveM, and decided to keep FiveM up and running as it is, not really changing anything. I'm guessing that the reason they're doing this is to have bigger control over the roleplay scene when GTA 6 comes around, but this was still major news. The last big thing worth mentioning is the release of GTA 5 Enhanced Edition for PC in 2025, which brought the new ray tracing features, including some new ones like Ray Trace Global Illumination to the PC version of the game, alongside things such as DLSS and FSR, and also updated online, bringing the GTA Plus subscription to the PC version of GTA 5. And that's basically it. This is the entire history of GTA 5, and while I tried to keep the video detailed, I probably skipped and glossed over a lot of things as to not make the video an hour long. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.